Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is the first game on the bench. I've been with the club for a few months, so I've been working with the players, but on the bench is special, and this game is special. So I think the players have worked very, very hard in their preparations. We've had a lot of challenges thrown at us, but as you say, the players have managed and they have surprised everybody. And do we have one more surprise left in us? We'll see on the night.
Thank you. And my question also goes to Parker. I mean, you are one of the senior players of the Kaizer Chiefs. You've been playing for, I think, a decade now with the club. And also, what are your thoughts on playing on such a high level? I mean, the final of the most prestigious Champions League, in Africa.
Yes, thank you. As a player, this is every player's dream. You play football and you strive and you work hard to play in such level in such competitions. And it's every player's dream to be in such a situation. And here we find ourselves in this situation. As a team, as a group, we've worked very hard to come this far, and we stuck together. We kept our spirit up. We supported one another. We uplifted one another, and we found ourselves in this way because we definitely deserve to be in the final. And from the players' perspective, everyone is happy, everyone is excited, and everyone is looking forward to this match. I think we can't wait for kickoff to begin.
Thank you, and I now give the floor to my colleagues, journalists, and I see so many hands raised, a lot of questions. So, first question, Mr. Peter Okoche, go ahead, please. Mr. Okoche? Okay, so we'll move on and maybe go back. Mr. Selebalo?
Thank you. Am I audible enough?
Oh, yes, please. Ask your question.
Thank you. My question is to Bernard Parker. Bernard, you've been with the club for a very long time. What is the mood like, away from the technical team, but just from the players themselves? What have you seen, during the last training sessions? Is there any fire in their bellies? Are some of the young players? In Morocco, he's one of the key players already this season. But how are those young players and experienced players looking at this moment in time? Because this is by far the biggest and greatest game Kaizer Chiefs has ever played in the entire history since the inception 50 or 51 years ago. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We're blessed to have such a good mix of players, young, middle, and old, in terms of what we have. And the young players are definitely happy and excited to be in this, to be part of the team. So is the rest of the guys, And the good thing about is in our team is that we've got such an open policy where we've got such good spirit amongst each other. We keep asking each other questions if we're not clear with certain situations, with certain ideas, with the backing of the technical staff as well. So every player is happy. Happy player is a performing player, and definitely we've seen the performance with Kudum until thus far, and it's just for us now to perform again, and with the coach being on the bench now, it's an extra upliftment in terms of motivation for us as well. Now having the coach close to us, nearer to us, what doing. It's a plus for us. So the young players as well. They do ask questions from the senior guys, myself, Kune, Katsande, because of the experience that they have, and I'm sure today everyone is clear in their roles, and it's what the coach wants for everybody to be clear in their role. So it's just for us to go on and execute.
Thank you. Second question, Mr. Lawrence Kohler. Okay. Yes, we can hear you, please.
For Lorenz Kohler from Pico, as a question for Coach Stuart. Coach, when you agreed to come back to Kaizer Chiefs last month or 2 months ago, obviously there's been issues of your work permit, but in talks of rejoining the club, was there any discussions of you having to win the Champions League should you get to the stage, or was it simply to steady the ship again at Kaizer Chiefs? Thank you.
No, obviously, we're all aware of the situation at the club in terms of where we stood in the PSL and how long we travelled in the Champions League. But I think once I'd agreed to come back, it was just a question of, well, let's get you on the bench as quickly as we can, and in the interim, I was doing whatever I could. I had a work permit, but it was with SAFA, so I was allowed to work in South Africa, but not officially because of all the paperwork. So I did what I could do to prepare the team in the interim, and then when the work permit came through officially, then I can now sit on the bench. But it was probably one of the most nervous times of my career to have to sit in the stand and watch the team that you were responsible for playing without you, so to speak. But the boys did a great job. The boys lifted their spirits and made a great fist of understanding the few things that we put down. So I'm happy with being back on the bench, and I'm looking forward to the game immensely.
Thank you, Coach. One more question, Mr. Daniel Waume.
All right, thank you very much. This goes out to Bernard Parker. We are looking at 20 years since Kaizer Chiefs won an African title. We know that they won the Cup Winners' Cup 2001. And at the end of the group stage, it's the head-to-head record that changed. What's been behind the momentum that the club has right now, wins over Simba, and with that, as you made it to the final?
Yes, thank you. After so many years, we find ourselves in this situation, and every player is well aware of the history of the club. What has been going on at the club throughout the years, because what we've been following, what we've seen, the blood, sweat, and tears that's gone through the club for the club to be such a big club, and it's a moment now where we're in a position to write history. And every player is aware of the position, the situation that we're in terms of writing history. And with the club turning 51 years this year, it's a good way for us to lift the trophy and make history for the club. We've got a lot of messages, we had a lot of support from ex-players, from ex-coaches, from people that love the club, people that have grown so close to the club in terms of wishing us well. The country at large as well, in terms of what we're about to achieve. And we in a way, in a way that we are well prepared. I would say, in a way, we just can't wait for the whistle for the game to start, because with the preparation that we're going through, I believe that we are stronger now. We've built ourselves stronger in a way throughout the competition, where we are stronger now than what we have been before in the competition. So with the backing of the technical staff and with the spirit and the togetherness we have in the team, we're gonna go all out. We've got our everything in our power to go all out for this 90 minutes for us to write history, and that's on every player's mind, including the technical staff, is for us now to go and leave everything in the field of play.
Thank you. We'll take a couple of more questions. Mr. Hugo Zolf. Yes, you may ask your question.
From African Insider.
Mm-hmm.
First question, do you think Coach Peter's experience in South African football gives him an advantage in this match? And second question is, do you think the African Super League will affect the club's transfer policies in any way in the coming window?
Oh, but your second question is about the match?
No.
No.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
No, okay. We are only accepting question about this final.
Yes.
So maybe Coach, you may want to answer the first question. Thank you, Mr. Zolf.
Yeah, look, Pitso has a very, very long history with competition on the African continent. And I've got great respect for Pitso as a coach. And we've had a few very interesting battles. And I have to say that I think that on the night, the experience of games that happened 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think that will affect the game on the night, but certainly the knowledge of African football puts Pitso in a very secure position to coach his own team. But I think every game has more than one scenario. It can play out in more than one ways. And as we've seen in the Euros, as we've seen in earlier World Cup games, there are upsets. There are games that go against what everybody believes will happen. Ahly were expected to get to where they are now. We were not. And so has worked a long time with his team. I have not. You know, we've had a lot of our best players injured or ravaged with COVID. I don't know what their situation has been, but I would guess that we are underdogs in most people's eyes. But my knowledge of football globally is that things don't always turn out the way you expect them to. And as Bernard's been saying, the important thing is when Kaizer Chiefs enter the field, that they believe they can win the game. And that we have a game plan that we believe can win the game for us. So great respect for Pitso, great respect for Ahly as a club. But on the evening, there can be more than one solution to how the game resolves itself. And we obviously believe that we can get a good result.
Thank you, Coach. One last question, Mr. Sifirambi.
Thank you. This question is for Coach Stuart Baxter. In your opinion, what's the biggest difference in terms of football between CAF Champions League and the PSL? Thank you.
I think when you play continental football, the first and most obvious one is you're coming up against a type of football, a style of football that you don't play against every week. Because if you look at the PSL, or if you look at the Premier League, or if you look at the Bundesliga, the difference between the teams is not as great as if you were to take a team from Azerbaijan and compare it to a team from Sweden. So that's the first and most, I suppose, obvious one, is that the style is not what you play every week. You know less about your opponent. You've got to do your research. You've got to do due diligence on your opponent. So their players, the intricacies of their style of play, you don't know as well. And usually the coach's preference in how he wants to play the game. But I think Peter and myself, we know each other quite well. So that is not going to be a massive problem for us. But it's up to both of us to come up with something that throws a curveball to the other one. And that will go on during the game, and it will go on with our substitutions, or if that changes of shape during the game. And that's part of the challenge of continental football. But again, a challenge is an opportunity, or it's a problem. And I'm looking at this game as being a massive opportunity for Kaizer Chiefs and a massive challenge.